Good morning, guys. How are you? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Good morning. I'm in Hyderabad, Saurav. All right. So, what did we discuss yesterday? EFS. Okay. Let's have a shootout round. Yeah, storage gateways, right? Hmm. Okay. Which one is block-based storage? EBS. Which one is file-based storage? EFS. Okay. EFS uses what protocol? NFS version 4 protocol, right? So, is it possible to share the data, share the volume from one EC2 instance to another EC2 instance in general? Okay. How is it possible? Through EFS. Okay. EFS is limited or unlimited? Unlimited. So EFS is for which operating system? Linux. And EFS, can you attach one EFS to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? Yes. Which one is for Windows? FSX. Mhm. EFS is completely managed by AWS or us? AWS. EFS is available for multiple availability zones. Yes. And which is the service used for archiving purpose? Glacier. And which is the service used for transferring huge data? Snowball. And which is the service used to um, synchronize the data from on-premises to AWS? Storage gateway. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, so 1A volume can be attached to 1B EC2 instance by default? No. Can we do it? Yes. So what is the concept to do that? Snapshots. Excellent. Excellent, guys. Very good. So let us move on. You guys are killing it. Huh. Okay, so so the next services that we're gonna discuss is database services. Services. Okay, guys. So you clearly understood before, if you want to move the servers, we are moving to EC2. If you are moved to the storage from on-premises, migrating. If you are migrating everything from on-premises, you are choosing particular services. From if you are moving the servers, you move it to EC2. If you are moving the applications, you're moving to the EC2 or Beanstack. If you are moving the data, you will be choosing S3 or block storage or whatever the storage services, right? And then everything you are moving slow one by one. And you see the database services, or you see the database on premises. Yes, can you name few databases that you know? You know database? What is database? We have already discussed, right? So database is a place where you store the data, right? See, many people knows this MySQL, MS SQL, Oracle, right? Yeah, Timshan, right? So Postgres, right? So these are all the database services, database engines, basically, that we use in our normal life. So if you're talking about these databases, then definitely you might have know about this RDBMS. Didn't we learn about RDBMS in our academics in your college? Eh, right. So what is RDBMS? Relational Database Management System. Yeah, DBMS. Right. DBMS meaning, yeah, Relational Database Management System. So basically, database, RDBMS, all these things. What is database? Database is a collection of tables, right? So tables meaning here the collection of rows and columns, right? And then especially in this RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, so all the multiple tables are related with each other. Everything is relational, everything is binded, everything is attached. So you might have learned about this key, primary key, foreign key, that key, this key, every key, right? Many things in RDBMS. Do you agree? Yes. So imagine, guys, by the way, anyone database administrators here in our class? Oh, Tapas, you're database administrator. Let me, Sumit also. Okay. So let me hear you from you guys now. Just imagine you have uh, one, guys, I'm talking about on premises now. Let's say this is on premises. This is on premises. So let's say you have a physical machine. This is a physical server. What server? This is a database server itself. And you have installed something called SQL server. And guys, and here you might be having, this is a database now, and obviously this might be having, let's say you have 8 GB RAM and something 100 GB hard disk. Okay, database guys, can you tell me, now all your applications will be connected to this database server, right? To this database server, and it's working perfectly. Now, all of a sudden, there is a huge traffic on this server. What will happen to this server? Let's take real scenario. Tapas, Sumit, definitely it will become very slow or it will crash, right? There is a high chances of getting it crash. A server will become slow and server will not be available and services will be boom, dhamal. So many people started complaining, guys, to Tapas and Sumit, that hey, the database servers is very slow. If the database server is very slow, what will happen? Your application will also be very slow because application has to get the data from the database in the backend, right? So it will be very slow. So Tapas went, yeah, it will affect the business. Yeah, Tapas went and see, so this database server is utilizing 8 GB 100%, 100% CPU, and it is using 8 GB RAM completely. So that meaning it is out of memory. And of course, 100 GB is not also not possible, not it's full, and you need to increase the hard disk also. Guys, we already discussed that how difficult it is in order to do the scalability on physical server in on premises. Yes or no? Can you easily do scalability here? Huh? No, no. You cannot shut down and you cannot increase 8 GB to 20 GB, and it's very difficult. Somehow he did it. Now it is working fine. So guys, now one server is sufficient. What about HA? I'm talking about the RDBMS or your normal whatever. So can you tell me, there is a HA on your on premises? No HA. By means any elasticity? Any elasticity? Uh-huh. No, it is no HA. Elasticity is even more difficult. Do you have scalability issues? Ah. What kind of general issues you have it? Performance issues? Hmm? If all people started accessing is boom. Okay. Backup issues, right? Tell me, Sumit, and then Tapas, what all the problems you face with your existing upgrade issues, restoration issues, storage issues? Do you agree for each and every point? Yeah. So and guys, and not only one server is not sufficient. You might be having another server also, and then you might need to do the synchronization between these two servers. Replication. Remember, guys, DBS. So replication, you need to take it. Backup, you need to take it. In the backup also, you have different types of backups. In incremental backup, differential backup, full backup, transaction backup, right? You need to take care of all these things, guys. And then you have replication issues, mirroring, right? Oh God. And all of a sudden, if you're using MS SQL Server 2003, 4 or something, and if you need to migrate to 8 or 12 or something, migration issues, right? Yeah. And then login issues, security issues. Eh? If I start writing all these things, this notepad is not sufficient. This paint will not be enough, right? So guys, so these are all the things will be handled by DBA, database administrators. So everyone they are using RDBMS. All this, whatever the databases mostly are using are all RDBMS only, right? These are all handled by DBA. DBA's job is basically DBA job is to handle all these things which I have written here, issues. What if, guys, every DBA, every DBA, guys, every DBA have a wish that he should not be having all these kind of issues and should be running smooth. Yes or no, DBS? Yes, right? So how do you feel, DBS, if you don't want to handle all these things and it is completely managed by some other people? Guys, now DBS, you no need to handle all these things anymore now, and we have got a service in we have got a service in AWS called RDS, Relational Database Services. What is that? Relational Database Services. So guys, whatever you're doing, the DBA, whatever the DBA is doing, everything is getting automated by RDS. As Tapas said, do we have any future for DBS now? Tell me. So for DBS, guys, it is a big blast, right? So the thing is, I can say definitely, guys, for DBS in future, unless if you have companies running on premises, for them they have the job, but now you clearly agree that everyone are migrating to AWS. If they are migrating to AWS, obviously they will be migrating the databases also to AWS. Then what is the use of DBA nowadays? That's the main reason few years back there was so many job cuts. There are so many job cuts, especially DBS, especially networking guys also. Because if you go to AWS, there is no use of networking. If you go to I'm saying that those who are on networking, those who are on DBAs, those who are doing on-premises jobs, for them it is a high time to learn AWS or especially cloud, especially AWS. That's the main reason initially I said, like, hey, DBS guys, please move out from your, because guys, and you will not be doing only DBA job on AWS. No, there will not be an only DBA job. Everything is completely managed by AWS. What you will be doing as a DBA there. That's why I recommend everyone to go with solution architect, so that everyone will be in safe side, right? That's the main reason. So guys, here now on AWS, we'll be using this service called RDS. What is RDS? Relational Database Services. Relational Database Services. Remember guys, RDS supports RDBMS only. RDS supports RDBMS only. RDS supports RDBMS only. Guys, and many people will confuse here. Guys, RDS is not a database. RDS is not a database. It is a database service. Okay? It's a database service. RDS is not a database. It's a database service. Sir, you told that how do we move to the database? I'm coming to that. Guys, RDS contains 6 database engines. RDS contains 6 database engines. Can you have listed down a few, right? Let us list it down few here. What all the database engines that AWS RDS supports? It supports MySQL, it supports Oracle, it supports MS SQL, it supports PostgreSQL, right? And it supports Maria, and it has Aurora. So guys, all these are all RDBMS databases only. RDBMS database only. Right, guys, MySQL is basically, this is open source, yes or no? This is open source. Oracle is from Oracle itself. And my MS SQL is from Microsoft. And Postgres is also, I think, open source only. MariaDB is community based, community people. And Aurora is, I always say this, AWS baby. So who developed Aurora? Aurora is AWS proprietary software, right? AWS proprietary software. How is MS SQL? MS SQL is from Microsoft, right? So Aurora is from AWS. Guys, this certification question. AWS sometimes will ask you, hey, what is the database service that I'm providing? Aurora. Are you getting it? Guys, are you following it? Right? So guys, those who have no idea about what is database and hold on, Mustaq, hold on. Right? So yes, for that answer is yes, but hold on. Those who don't know about the databases and tables, rows and columns, I suggest to go and have a look on your internet a little bit about the database, right? So guys, can you tell me here those who don't know databases? That's completely fine. Anyone new to databases? That new meaning you no need to work on databases, but at least, sir, I am not from this background, so I don't know databases. Completely fine. Anyone? Sairam, okay. 2. Okay, so only a couple of people. So Sairam and Shubha Datta, please, you guys are experienced definitely, I know. So just go through a bit on internet today and let's have an idea about what is database and what is that used for. But in general, databases are used to store, yeah, any database. Yeah. See, Subhadata, I no need to be working on the databases. I just need to know you the concept of database. That's all. Database, how the tables look like, huh? Tables, collection of rows and columns. That's all. That is enough. Just a rough idea about it. Hey, just think about my this Excel sheet. Yeah, how do you put all the data on your Excel sheet? Huh? Columns. You put the columns on top. You put the data. You have rows, right? Columns, rows, right? If you cut and put it in some software call, that is itself is database. That's all. And to do the manipulation, you will be using like primary keys, foreign keys, and all inner queries, sub queries. These are all no need to go into it. Developer will take care. And guys, one important thing here you should keep in mind now itself. See, I will be talking about RDS. I will be helping you to setting up databases and all. Is our responsibility to go inside the database and create the tables and columns and all? You tell me that first.
How?
Not at all. It's a developer role, right? We are not here to learn database queries, right? We are here to learn about AWS, the outer world, not inside world. Inside world you have to learn individually, right? So guys, in database services, like mostly in the database services, like what we're gonna learn, we'll be learning how to configure, how to set up, how to make what is AWS is providing. Everything we'll be learning on the outer level, architect level. But if you think, right, sir, I need to set up MS SQL. Yes, I'll help you to set up MS SQL or MySQL or Postgres. But I will help you to connect to that also. But I will not be able to show how to create a tables inside it. How do I create a table? How to run my queries and how to write my inner join, outer joins, subqueries and all. That is not our job. So in general, AWS architect and sysop, they will not do that. But developers, be ready. It is also your job because hey, if you're setting up an application, how does the admin know what kind of columns that he should be able to create there? right? So what we will set up the databases, and then we will give to the developer. Developer will be able to connect it, and then he'll start creating tables and connect to the application. That is the developer's things. But here, few services like will be I will be helping you to know in and out about definitely about all, and how to configure and set it up, but not going inside it. Clear, everyone? We have to know this. Later you should not think, because that is not our. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so fantastic, guys. Now every time I'm talking about, see, RDBMS, RDBMS, RDBMS. RDBMS is relational database management system. You know that, because these are all like since our childhood. Since our childhood, we are using this RDBMS. Older days, guys, if you are developing some application, guys, experience, guys, can you tell me? Experience, guys, can you tell me? On olden days, whenever anyone develop an application, the backend would be always MySQL or MS SQL, or out of any of these. Yes or no? Everyone uses RDBMS. So just imagine, okay, I don't tell anything, I'll hear from your mouth itself, right? Guys, now you have Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or nowadays they are using many things. Can you tell me Facebook is using RDBMS in the backend? Eh? Who knows, sir? Okay, tell me, see guys, here RDBMS, guys, RDBMS, of course they'll be using multiple data. They will see RDBMS. It was good. It was number one on for few years. Later, like giant companies like Facebook, Google, right? These are all big companies. They came and they started using this RDBMS initially, but the performance was not up to that level. It takes the data. You can store the data. You can do complex queries on right? I've also worked as, I'm an all-rounder actually, right? So I used to develop complex queries also, subqueries. I love always subqueries, right? Inner joins, outer joins, all these things. You'll be writing complex queries. But if you have a website, guys, on olden days there were no Facebooks, there were no Google, there were only anyone Orkut age? Anyone use Orkut? Right? Then we are all in the same age, huh? Right. So Orkut, right? I still remember many like I created a account, and then after that they stopped using this Orkut, right? So on those days there were no heavy applications, there were no huge applications there. Like now, just we cannot even imagine how many people are using Facebook and how many hits are getting to the Facebook. Guys, do you imagine that? Do you agree if Facebook in the backend it is using RDBMS? Do you agree if they are using RDBMS as a main server in the backend? Definitely no. Without knowing anything, we are saying no, it is not possible. Why? Why without knowing anything, why you are saying no? Because I don't know, we have a feeling of that RDBMS could not able to handle a excellent performance. So they started using this, but the sites are becoming slow and all. And for this kind of purposes, latestly we got a technology on the database side is called NoSQL. NoSQL. NoSQL meaning not only SQL. So these guys developed something. Hey, don't die with SQL only. There is something else also. So database meaning not only SQL, there is something else that is itself NoSQL. So guys, this NoSQL, if you want to know more about, you need to have a course separately for that NoSQL, because NoSQL is a huge. So developers will be handling it. So NoSQL basically, guys, it's flexible, simple as that. It is flexible. Guys, can you imagine those who are working on RDBMS, not generally in MS SQL or MySQL, whatever, when you're creating a table there, you need to put all the columns there now itself while creating the table. Yes or no? You need to design before itself. Yes or no? Can you add, you have now millions of data inside your table. Can you add a column there? Is it easy to add the column there? No. Can you put null values? Can you have a duplicate for the primary keys? So guys, these are all relational. That meaning fixed. It is fixed. It is not flexible. But whereas in NoSQL, everything is flexible. You can start creating a table with only one single column, and later you can add how much ever column you want, you can add it. You can put null values. You can do a lots of things on NoSQL, and it is meant for performance. So guys, there are many NoSQL databases in our market. Guys, can you tell me few database guys? Can you tell me few NoSQL databases? MongoDB, the famous one, right? So you have many Cassandra, right? You know, there are many databases, right? But but AWS has wanted to give you something, right? AWS doesn't leave the service. So AWS started giving NoSQL service, NoSQL databases using a service called DynamoDB, right? On AWS, if you ask, sir, on AWS, don't we have NoSQL? Yes. What is the service that is provided? DynamoDB. DynamoDB is NoSQL service in AWS. Simple. DynamoDB is NoSQL service in AWS. Okay. So we have a separate class on DynamoDB. So just remember what is, if I ask you what is a NoSQL service in AWS, then you should say DynamoDB. DynamoDB. Okay, guys. Now, this RTS, we thought the RTS is used for complex queries, and NoSQL, this DynamoDB is used for NoSQL service, that meaning for performance. Now, I need to put huge data, like big data. Guys, there is a difference between putting the normal data in the data here and then with normal data and huge data. Yes or no? There's a difference between a normal data and huge data. Yes or no? Yes, right? Normal data meaning only some little limit. Huge data means that is something exhausting, like, huge. Can we use RDS for huge data? No. Can we use DynamoDB for huge data? No. For huge data, AWS is also providing another service called Redshift. What is that? Redshift. So guys, Redshift is used to store, yes sir, is used to store huge data. Okay, so before that, guys, if you are storing data in a place, huge data in a place, what is that called? there is a difference between database and data warehouse. So database meaning is used to store data. That's all. Dataware is used to store huge data. That's a difference. This is an interview question, guys. And whereas, so if you ask, sir, don't we have data warehouses in AWS? Yes. Which is the service which provide data warehouses? Redshift. So Redshift is data warehouse on AWS. So guys, those who are developers, you might have like for huge data. Do you remember these BI tools, business intelligence tools, right? So if you go to Amirpet, there are all any big boardings everywhere about the BI tools and all, right? So yeah, Tableau and all, right? So yes, so all for this huge, for these are all reporting tools, right? Where you can get to process a lots of huge data, getting reports and all. For that, you need to have a huge data in the backend. So where do you store the huge data in the backend? In data warehouse. What is the data warehouses which is provided in AWS is? Which service is that? Redshift. Guys, is this clear? We have discussed three services: RDS, DynamoDB, and Redshift. RDS, DynamoDB, and Redshift. Okay. Okay, shootout question. So guys, if you want to use RDBMS database services, which services do you choose in AWS? RDS. RDS is a database. It's a database service. RDS supports how many engines? 6 engines. Remember, these 6 engines are certification questions, guys. These 6 engines are certification questions. So, sorry. So you have to remember this: MySQL Oracle, MS SQL Postgres, MariaDB Aurora, right? Or just simply put like a mom PMA, MOM, first letters, mom PMA. Mom is PM and we are assistant. Huh? Something you have to remember somehow, right? Data structures. The database is structured. Satya, this is actually database questions. Like we are not going to the database, but we have a structured data, unstructured data. Like the difference between DBMS and then RDBMS and then NoSQL. All these things are all unstructured. NoSQL. It's not. It's not. It's flexible, right? You need to have the data structured. You can do a whatnot, all kind of yoga asanas on NoSQL. But here in RDBMS, everything should be structured, properly structured. Otherwise, it doesn't work, right? So, guys, so what we do is in our course, we will set up this RDS servers. Guys, DynamoDB is purely a developer related, right? We don't have anything to configure on Dynamo, right? So Dynamo is purely for developers. But if you have chance, I'll go and teach deeper on DynamoDB, definitely. But remember, this is for developers, right? There's less management over there. Redshift, we can set it up, right? We will be setting up RDS, we'll be setting up Redshift, and we'll be learning the concept of RDS and Redshifts and all. But remember, we will not be entering into it, and will not be. You can create databases and all, but it is up to the developers that who will be. You need to be clear on that. Satya bhai, let's it's a columnar database. Satya, Redshift is columnar database. So columnar database, you can think about it. Yeah. Okay, so guys, this is about, and we have another database left. That is, okay, I don't talk about the service. Let me go into the detail first. So, here. So guys, let's say you have an application over here. Definitely you have an application. And in the back end, you have the database. Yes or no? Definitely we have it. This doesn't look like a database for you. No, yes, database. So guys, this is a application. You have an application server. This is the database server. It's a database server. Guys, so database servers definitely have the hard disks. Definitely have the hard disk, right? Right, definitely have the hard disk. So this is a hard disk. All your data will be sitting inside the hard disk. Okay, now I have a client over here. So I'll take Sumit, the latest message guy, Sumit. So Sumit is accessing, he opened his browser and he is accessing some application. Let's say, I always take this example like Flipkart. Flipkart. So let's say he opened Flipkart, and then Sumit is very fond of what do you like in Flipkart, Sumit? What do you always search for in Flipkart? Shoes. Let's say shoes. Only one. Let's go over that. Right? So Sumit, okay. Electronics, huh? Okay, so I example, okay, Tapas, you put shoes, huh? Okay, no problem. Guys, just imagine Sumit is he like very much about his shoes, and whenever he opened Flipkart, he always search for shoes. Right? Whenever he opened the Flipkart, he always search for shoes. Let's say now he opened the Flipkart and then he searched for shoes, and the request will go to the application. Yes or no? And from this application, it go to the database. Definitely yes. And from the database, all the data is stored here in the hard disk, and you get the data from the hard disk, and it will give it back to the database server, and database server will give it back to application, and this application will give back data to the client. Yes or no? Yes, right? This is the flow. Okay, so one time, definitely this Sumit here, he accesses the source, and then the request went. Again, he's accessing this is the request 1, accessing the source. Now request 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like this, guys, for each and every request, he's accessing the same data, right? Third time request. So second time, so application goes to the database and is getting it and giving it back. Third time, same shoes, getting it and give it back. Fourth time, same data. And fifth time, if it is coming, application will put a strange face to Sumit, right? What the fish? What, Sumit? Why you are accessing all the time the same data, right? So application, and then application is putting this kind of face, and just imagine how about the database. Database is getting the same details again and again. So he is with the big eyes and with, what's going on? So the thing is, he is using same data again and again, and the request is going to the database and getting from this bloody hard disk, which is slower. And because hard disk is always like, you have to get the data from hard disk. Every time he need to get it back, every time he's giving the same details to the same person, same request, same data. Guys, if you're accessing the same data, what is that data called? Frequently accessed data. Yes or no? Right? Frequently accessed data. So in order, if you're accessing the data frequently, right? And then you are going to the same thing again and again and relying on this slower hard disk. So what do you think to increase the performance here? If you put the excellent, do you see that? So if you are using the same frequently accessed data, you can put that in a temporary location, and that location we call it as cache. Storing the frequently accessed data in one place is called cache. So now what we do is here, this guy, so this hard disk guy got frustrated and database got frustrated, and what he do is, now he has putting a cache, and whatever the frequently accessed data is stored is now stored in memory. That is cache. He is caching the data. So now if Sumit is accessing the shoes, the request will come here. Instead of going, so the request will go to the database. Instead of going to the hard disk, the request will go to the cache, and the cache will be responding to it. So this will become faster or not. We have already discussed a caching technique before also. Which service was that? Before, initial classes. Edge location. Edge location caching is for website. Guys, I'm talking about here database. So you can do the caching also on the database level, guy. Wow. You can do the caching also on the database side. So guys, here you understood the logic, the concept, why we need to use the cache here, right? So we are putting all our data in memory, right? In memory. That is called cache here. So there are many in the market. There are many fantastic popular caching technologies called Memcached, Memcached, Redis, and Varnish. So guys, these are all the three important popular. There are many also. There are many, right? So three popular things. These three technologies, caching technologies, and now everyone started using this Memcached, Redis, and Varnish in their on-premises. Guys, if you want to set up Memcached, this is all the softwares, right? You need to install, you need to set up the server, you need to do a HA, you need to do the backup. Who will take care of all these things? Yeah. So now AWS saw this, and then he implemented the same thing. And he has introduced this Memcached and Redis on AWS. In which service? The service is called Elastic Cache. What is the service name? Elastic Cache. That is the database service that we are discussing. Right? So guys, now and AWS is not giving you Varnish, right? AWS is providing you the two engines. Guys, how does in RDS it is providing 6 engines now? The same way, guys, in RDS it is providing 6 engines. MySQL is not from AWS. Oracle is not from AWS. MS SQL is not from AWS. Memcache is not from AWS. Redis is not from AWS. Guys, this is just an engine. How it is same, like how it is he's giving an RDS service, the same way he is giving this Elastic Cache service, which has 2 engines. What are those? Certification questions, interview questions, all this. Memcached and Redis. So these two are in-memory caching engines. For now, you can in-memory caching engines. Guys, you understood this? This is called elastic cache. So what is elastic cache? Elastic cache is in memory. You can simply remember this. Elastic cache meaning in memory database caching service. And if I ask you what are the two engines does it support, you should say memcached and Redis. Sir, what is memcached? What is Redis? What is the difference between them? How do we set it up? Right? Everything we'll see in that elastic cache session. Is this clear? True. I need messages also that those who have not messaged yet. Balaji, Suchitra, Sucharita, Nagaraju, right? Good. Where are you, Yogesh? Appa, money, sir. Why he called? Sit properly, right? And then you're sitting properly. Okay, good. All right. So, guys, that is on the database services. Now, let's see here. Guys, do you know about RDS? Yes. Do you know about Redshift? Redshift is fast, fully managed petabyte scale data warehouse, right? DynamoDB provides managed NoSQL databases, Elasticache in-memory database caching, single line answers. Guys, whatever we discussed since 2-3 days, at least minimum 10 to 15 questions you will get it in certification. And you are answering it already. That's cool. Let's go to networking in the content delivery. How much data can be cached, can done on Elasticache? In terabytes. Mustaq bhai, huge. Yeah. So guys, here networking. Did we learn about VPC already? No. Hey. What is VPC, guys? Virtual private cloud. Of course, we haven't went deeper into it, but at least what is VPC? I told you what is. You remember the example? Sulab complex example. Yeah. Right. So everything should be inside the VPC, right? Everything should be inside the VPC. Yeah. Right. So it provides an isolated virtual network for your virtual servers, right? Everything should be inside the VPC, guys. Everything should be inside the VPC. So remember, AWS is giving us a default VPC. AWS is giving us a default VPC. So we will be using that VPC and then we'll launching the EC2 instance. But definitely, guys, in the end of the course, we will set up our own VPC from scratch. We will do the architecting, entire thing architecting from scratch. Don't worry. Right? So for now, you have to understand what is VPC. It's a virtual private cloud and it used for the security purpose, right? And it provides an isolated virtual network, isolated private cloud for our environment. So, guys, do you remember about DNS? No, Krishna. No. If I don't tell, that meaning it will never come. Right? So VPC doesn't come under CDN. No, VPC is separate concept. Hey, by the way, I didn't like that. Why you got confused? This is AWS. This is AWS. Inside the AWS, we have VPC. Yes or no? Inside AWS, we have our own VPC. Yes or no? Krishna? This is, we have VPC, right? So your client Krishna is here, right? So Krishna is here, and then he is accessing the application. Guys, remember CDN comes under which service? CloudFront. Excellent. CloudFront, right? So why did we using CDN? I told you that we have the edge locations at the client place, right? For website caching. So guys, let's say Krishna is in Singapore. Hmm? So he need to come all the way from Singapore in order to access his application, which is inside the VPC. What type of latency? What type of latency here? High latency, right? So in order to decrease this, in order to make the huge nice performance, I told you that AWS is having the edge locations in Singapore. Edge locations in Singapore. And this edge location is connected to your AWS using what? CDN, Content Delivery Network. And now Krishna will be connecting to the edge location, and from the edge location through the CDN, it goes to your application. So CDN, I told you, CDN is nothing, it's not your normal network, it is AWS network. And this one is your normal 2 GB, 2 MB, what is that? 2 MB super high speed internet, 2 Mbps. Yeah, right? So this is high speed internet, and this is our super speed internet. And okay, don't get confused, I'm just joking. So this is our bad internet, and this is our AWS network internet, where it will be faster. Now, Krishna, can you tell me VPC will come under CDN? Let's clear that. Okay. Now you understood, guys, how this will work. This architecture is important for you. It's connected through CDN if you need. Guys, this is, I'm talking about application, right? Because the client is accessing the application. Arey bhai, can you repeat again? Right? So here, okay, I'll do that. Anudeep, please concentrate. See here, I'm talking about the application. Guys, to connect to the VPC, you don't need CDN. What is there inside? We have the servers inside. To log into the servers, you don't need to go through the CDN, right? So we have regions, right? So we will be connecting from our laptop to the servers here. This CDN will be helpful only for your website, not used for the connecting to the servers, right? And obviously, okay. So Anudeep, see here. So Krishna is in Singapore, and application is here inside our region, inside the VPC, inside our region. And let's say this is in Mumbai. Anudeep, now you tell me, from the Singapore, he's accessing the website which is in Mumbai, VPC. So Anudeep, for that, the performance will be low or high? Slow or faster? Anudeep. You there? I want him to reply. I know you guys. I know. Is here? Anudeep, you're here? Okay, he's not responding. Okay, no problem. So, okay. Okay, definitely it will be high latency. you asked, Anudeep, right? Okay, so definitely you have a high latency. In order to reduce this high latency to become low latency, then we will be using this edge locations concept. Using this edge locations, you will have the low latency. So all your website will be cached over here in edge location. We have already discussed this in our initial classes. Huh? So we have, it will be cached here. So instead of Krishna going through this, the first on top, he will be connecting to the edge locations. Simple as that. And this will be faster because it will be going, your request will be going through AWS network to your application through this CDN. Okay, so yeah. Guys, you understood what is VPC? So VPC is a very, 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 very big concept. But now I cannot go deeper into it now. You will definitely get confused. So VPC, you just remember, it is used for security. It's a private cloud. Whatever we do, it should be inside the VPC. Guys, where do you create the VPC? Okay, no problem, Anidip. Yeah. So guys, where do we create our EC2 instances? Inside the VPC or outside the VPC? No problem, Anidip. Yeah. Inside the VPC, right? Remember, right? Everything should be inside the VPC. It should be very secure. If you want to remember the VPC, just remember that Sulabh complex. Huh? Okay, so what is DNS, guys? DNS, domain name service. We have spent lots of time on the DNS, isn't it? In our initial classes. So DNS basically DNS is basically used for like a routing purpose, from where to where it goes and all. Remember, 3-tier architecture we have discussed how it is going and all. So now we also have the DNS service in AWS, that is Route 53. What is that, guys? Route 53. Write down that. Route 53. Route 53 is a DNS service on AWS. Route 53 is a DNS service on AWS. Guys, let's say, okay, who is latest here? Sweetie. Sweetie.com. Right? You have sweetie.com. Let me put that. Okay. This is again AWS. Right? And inside we have the VPC, our own VPC. AWS. Of course, guys, you have region inside it. Huh? Inside the region, you have the VPC. This is your VPC. Okay. So here you have Sweetie application. CT Mar, huh? Sweetie application here. Inside. You have application here. So clients are accessing sweetie.com. Guys, remember, if someone is accessing something.com, google.com, remember that flow chart that I have drawn, right? Remember, from local host, from your browser, it goes to local host, local goes to, yeah, local host, yeah, local DNS to your root name server, top level domain, name servers, SOA, all these things. It goes all through it. But where is your application? Inside the AWS. So it goes through all these things. By the time it reaches AWS, it go through all the shit that we have discussed. It goes all the way, and here, before going to the AWS, there is the first hit would be Route 53. So in Route 53, we give the names called sweetie.com should be pointing to our load balancer. Remember, obviously it will go to the load balancer in our application. From the load balancer, it goes to our EC2 instances, right? And in Route 53, guys, we will give these fancy names. And then this records, like, this route. If anyone types sweetie.com, it should route to the load balancer. This is routing, what we call it as routing. And all this is nothing but, guys, what is this? This is host name. We remember the DNS converts host name to IP, IP to host name and all. So in AWS, all this Route 53 will be the DNS service. And remember, guys, why this is 53? Anyone? Remember, DNS port is 53. And as the DNS is all about routing, here to there to here, and that is why they have put it as route 53. Guys, people will call it as route 53, and sometimes you will be calling it as route 53. It's depend upon how big your tongue is. Okay. So your wish, whatever you call, right? I call it as at least route 53. Guys, you understood route 53? So what's that? Okay. So guys, here that is route 53 is your DNS service. If I ask what is route 53 and what is DNS service on AWS, then you should say it is route 53. And guys, next is direct connect. Guys, tell me this again. This is your company and this is AWS. This is AWS and this is your company. Guys, how do you connect, using what you will be connecting from your company to AWS? Network, internet only, na? Right? Internet only, right? So internet which is provided by your ISP provider, Airtel, Yacht, whatever it is. So there are so many internet providers. Guys, can you tell me, let's say you are using Airtel, for example, internet connection, your company in the backend. That Airtel internet is only dedicated to you or it is shared internet? Tell me that. It is shared only, na? The pipe is shared only, na? So Airtel, what it does is, he has a bandwidth 100, let's say 100 something. He will be sharing it to each and every client. Don't think that your internet is dedicated for you, guys. That's why whatever you do on the internet, it will become public. Huh? Right? Remember? So that is dangerous. So from your company to AWS, you want to have, you will be using this shared internet concept. But there are few companies that they don't want whatever the request it's going from your company to the AWS, it should not be shared. So they want to have a direct connect, a direct dedicated pipe from a company to the AWS. That is called direct connect. That is called direct connect. It is a dedicated pipeline connection from your company to AWS. No shared internet. It is just only AWS network. For security purpose, they'll be using it. But remember, guys, which one is bloody costlier? This direct connect, right? So, guys, this is just your theoretical purpose, right? I cannot set up a pipeline connections from my laptop to AWS now, right? So there are few services that we just go for theory, okay, right? Sir, this is the only theory. You have not done practicals. अरे कहाँ से लाऊं भाई पाइपा ये सब, right? So I cannot do this, right? So because I will be telling guys, remember, few services will be theoretical. Few services will be pakka pure practicals, right? Few services would be, I'll be talking about this theoretical stuff and then I'll be leaving because there will be no chance of doing practicals on it, right? So that one of the service is direct connect, remember. Don't think, or if you make strict to me, then I'll set up direct connection and then I'll send bill to you. Okay, so you should be quite mature to understand this, why sir is not doing. And guys, do you still have the doubt why sir is not doing practical still now? Do you have a doubt? No, because I am just giving you the knowledge, right? The knowledge of all the services before going to the AWS, right? So if you go to the AWS, you should not be new now. If you go to AWS, I bet you will be knowing all kind of services now. Before going to the AWS, you should be knowing all the AWS services. And then, because when I take any service, you should be able to relate to other services. Sir, can we integrate this? Can we do that? You will get so much of imagination and doubts. You will be triggering with the new thoughts. That's the main reason I'll be even though, guys, these all whatever I use till now, these 10 days or 1 week, it is just to make you perfect. For me, I should not say time is I'm right. We are not actually into AWS. I can easily move it off and I can jump into AWS. That is not my style of teaching. So I want you to make comfortable first, right? And then slowly we'll go into the topics. Raghu, direct connect is same as VPN. I should not say it is same as VPN. VPN is still shared. VPN is still using your internet. In the internet, you think you are putting blanket on you and you are going traveling from here to here. And shared internet is without blanket. VPN is with blanket. Simple. Sairam, lease line is direct connect. Yes. Sir, in Route 53, does firewall configuration come as a part of it? No. No. The firewall configuration will come here. Before Sweetie application will be inside the EC2 instance, na? Before the EC2 instance, we have the firewall. Anil. So this, we call it as security group. SG. SG meaning security group. So that is firewall for us in AWS. But that's what I don't talk about this now. When we go to EC2 section, there we'll talk about security groups. Okay. And CloudFront, you know, it's a global content delivery network. Guys, is this clear? Still here? Everyone? Yeah. Tomorrow we have a class, yeah? Tomorrow we have a class. Tomorrow we have a class. That would be a very short class, but important class, because we have only a few services left. I'll be finishing those services tomorrow, definitely. And then from Monday onwards, we will be jumping into one of the service. Take a photo. Any questions? Any concerns? Even for dynamic data, user connect to edge location and through CGN, it connects origin. Yes, Raghu. Raghu Master. Yes. Raghu Master, Jani Master. Yes, Raghu. For dynamic also, it can. But it depends upon the... If you're asking this question, I think you are a little bit experienced. I can feel that. For that, that is a time to live option there. Like how much time you have to cache the data on edge location. If you're caching for 24 hours, the dynamic data, your recruiter, hey, hello, Raghu, I'm Riaz here, and these are my students, right? So keep an eye on us, right? Okay, I'm just kidding, right? So see, Raghu, now you have become a famous guy. Now see, see. All right. So, अरे भाई मुझे मत भूलो, guys. Okay. So, first me, and then after that you should go to Raghu. And just imagine Raghu is here also. So think that, right? So you want to move from recruiter to technical, maybe. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Raghu. So that is depend upon the TTL. Based on that, we can. It is used for the dynamic also. Yes. Next. Done. Huh? From my diagrams, you'll get all kind of hypnotism, huh? All kind of chakras, huh? Next. Done? Nimi? Second one, huh? Tapas done, right, guys? So please go through whatever we have discussed. I'll be asking the questions tomorrow again, the shootout round, and then tomorrow, guys, don't miss a class. Like, even though it is Saturday, right? So I'll be talking the next uh, services, which is important again. Don't miss the class, and then from Monday onwards, we'll jump into the not actual topics, deeper into the topics. Who will give money for what? KBC. Okay. All right. So you play, Amma. You play with each other now. I'm going now. That is all, guys. Thank you very much for today, and then I'll see you tomorrow with the next topic. Until then, take care. Bye bye, and have a nice day.